It's a dynamite drop, baby. You know the names. It's Ashlee and Shawn, the verbal bang bang gang. Guns up, all elite takes, no filler hitting you. Harder than a Blade Runner. You want heat, they deliver every week. It's a thriller, it's a dynamite drop, powered by the hub, and that's undisputed.
Well, hello everyone, and of course, when you hear that music, you know what this is. This is the Dynamite Drop, powered by the Hub. Is I, Shawn, with my tag team partner, Ashlee, and we're here after back-to-back nights of AEW Professional Wrestling. And no time than now to tell you about the Hub. Now, this is a collection of professional wrestling podcasts starting on Tuesdays with Draw, Straws, Raw. It's Eric B, Randy C. They cover the good, the bad, and the ugly each week from Monday Night Raw. Wednesdays, you get Hughes Pop, Donnie Sevilla, Jimmy Cordelis give you the week in professional wrestling. And of course, Fridays, you start off with the best of the group of podcasts, in my humble opinion. Pretty sure Ashley will agree with me. It's the Dynamite Drop with us, the Bang Bang Gang, as we give you everything you need to know about AEW. And tomorrow, it's the return of Fodder Gray Felton, Brad the Dad, the Smack Daddies. They will be giving you the best and the worst from Friday Night SmackDown. But Ashley, back-to-back nights of AEW. And my first question for you, as I renew the stunning, this time 12 questions, and my first question for us this week. How do you feel about back-to-back nights of AEW programming? Do you like this better than having it on Wednesday and Saturday?
I don't hate it. Mostly just kind of helping through the power through the work week. It would be sort of nice to kind of have the weekends to, maybe not always have to worry about it, but especially with stuff like New Japan and catching up with New Japan and things like that is usually going to have to be done on the weekends at this point, especially with all the tournaments coming up. But I guess it's fine for this once in a while bit.
See, I want to disagree with you because, Ashley, Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back nights where it's like 2 shows, 4 hours of professional wrestling. If I was able to watch both of them in single sessions, I'd probably be a little happier. But this time around, I fell asleep a little bit during Dynamite, unfortunately. So I had to watch that on Thursday morning. So I didn't have the benefit of having back-to-back episodes. I literally did it on one day. So maybe a little bias here. But I kind of like my Wednesdays and Saturdays. I kind of like having a little split there where I can have some time to breathe and think about each episode separate from each other.
That's a fair point.
Well, we're going to go back and give you the best of both episodes, as Dynamite started off with in my humble opinion, the best Hangman Adam Page promo of his freaking career.
Oh, so good. And his promos have always been fantastic, but I truly think the work with Swerve and the work he did, like working as a heel and stuff like that, has kind of just made him even more complete than he was as a babyface. I do love everything he said in this promo, and I am very curious to see the next time Hangman and Swerve are face to face.
I gotta say, Ashley, Hangman Adam Page is the most realistic babyface in professional wrestling. He did a switch from being a total heel to, oh my God, I'm clean-cut babyface. He literally told us that he had to put all that stuff in the past and go forward. He didn't try to come out here and explain to us how he was going to justify it to make it where he could be squeaky clean. He still does say Heyman Adam Page. He's kind of like Swerve Strickland, where they're kind of like anti-heroes.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of in just human nature to kind of want to label things, but like it is just very human to have emotions and to be upset when you've been wronged and maybe to go too far. It doesn't always necessarily make you a bad person, and I love that we see, like, especially like you said, like kind of like these are very strong men, and we see like these very vulnerable moments from both of them. Like we saw Swerve Strickland have that moment a few months ago when Hangman said, "You broke into my home and you got what you deserved. Like you deserved your house being burned down." And he said he knew. Like we've seen it now from both sides, and it's really, I think, some good messaging to get out there in especially something like a wrestling storyline.
Well, if this was as good as I said it was, cue in Will Ospreay. And here comes Will Ospreay down to the ring. And he literally says, "You know what? Hey, man, we've been in a few promotions, and this is the very first time we had a chance to intermingle. So, hello, Hangman. Nice to meet you. Now, I humbly disagree with your process of thinking that you're going to win at Double or Nothing because, dude, I'm Will freaking Ospreay. I'm on another level.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna say when Will Ospreay first came into AEW, I saw a lot of people saying he wasn't a great talker. Will Ospreay has never left me anything but fired up after a promo. And, like, this was like no exception. Like, he has thrown everything he's got into every promo and every appearance, and he was absolutely right with the stuff he said. He was like, "I've been here. I'm the one staying after signing autographs. I'm the one doing the meet and greets. I'm the one doing the media." And he has been. It's true. So all that up passion and all the truth to it, it's got to kind of sting a little bit for Hangman, who was, kind of like the golden eye of the AEW fan base.
Well, there is one great line for Will Ospreay in this little go between them. He goes like, "This isn't your redemption story, Heyman. This is my ascension."
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at the scale again, I think, after the match.
You know what? This promo sold me on this match. Remember how much I wanted Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher number 3? This one promo has changed my mind. I want to see this match more now.
Good. I'm glad. I hope this got a lot of people excited for it, because a match this good, especially for something like the Owen, it's going to be special. And whoever wins, we're going to get a great world title match. So,
Well, coming up this coming Wednesday at Beach Break from Chicago, Illinois, and on Dynamite, we're getting the Don Callis family. We're getting Josh Alexander and Katasha versus Will Ospreay and Heyman freaking Adam Page. Actually, can they coexist?
I don't know. Honestly, Hangman didn't seem very thrilled with Ospreay kind of giving him a pat afterward, trying to be like, "Hey, we got this, right?" So I don't know. I think we get too many Don Callis shenanigans for the boys to overcome it. But I just gotta say, after like this week and these recent additions to the Don Callis family, this is the most comically overpowered faction I think I've ever seen in professional wrestling. It is insane.
Well, I gotta say, this opening segment was pure gold. One of my favorite segments in AEW this year so far. So let's move on to another segment that we have been enjoying week after week after week as we get my question for you. Will Bob allow MJF into the Hurt Syndicate? Because this week, MJF finally decided to do something. Now, unfortunately for Top Flight, they were the victims. MJF finally hurt somebody. Did that impress Bobby or Bob?
He seemed happy about it. He was smiling, which is a 180 from what we've seen. So maybe.
Now, Bob has informed us that we have to wait 1 week to get this decision, and we are not going to question Bob's decision-making skills because even if he smiles, I'm still scared to death of that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to question him either. I think maybe we do get the thumbs up this time around. I think we know MJF truly does have a mean streak in him, and I think Bobby Lashley wants to see it.
I think we have to do it now. We have gone down this line so far. I feel like we need to at least have it for a little bit and see how this plays out over the summer here in AEW. So we're moving on to another fan favorite and our favorites, as I feel like Father of the Year and Nick Wayne have finally got to the boiling point, and I think Nick Wayne has had all he wants of dear old dad, as dad decided to bring out Rhyno as his challenge this week.
Yeah, I would be pretty angry as well, because Rhino still looked like Rhino looked like in like 2007. So I would be so angry. He didn't keep the belt though, so I guess there's that.
Okay, Ashley, you are splitting hairs here, buddy. Because last week, dear old dad decided to put the belt around the waist of his son. This week, he just dropped the belt and left.
Oh yeah, he threw it right on the ground, and Nick Wayne was very unhappy, and even Mother Wayne looked a little unhappy as well. And I think that's truly where the fracture is going to come in. I think Mother Wayne is going to be upset with Christian treating her baby boy like that, because we know Nick Wayne is a mama's boy. We've seen it.
Okay, so we are going to our next question. As backstage during Dynamite, we had Will Ospreay and MJF have a interaction, and my question to you, Ashley, is this going to be a possible future AEW World Title feud? As MJF wanted Will Ospreay to win at Double or Nothing, go on to All In to win his AEW World Title, not Will Ospreay's title, MJF's title. And MJF said there's nobody on the level of the devil, and Will Ospreay said, on contraire, mon frere, I am Will freaking Ospreay. I'm just on another freaking level.
And he's not wrong. And I think absolutely this has to be an AEW World Title feud at some point. These are two of the best wrestlers in ring AEW has to offer. And like I just said about Will Ospreay and his promos, I think he's fantastic. I think he's knocked it out of the park 99, like 98% of the time, we'll say. And I think MJF is one of those guys who's so dependable on the mic that we often like take it for granted. He sometimes, he's another one that sometimes he has like maybe a reaching for the low hanging fruit type of promo we've seen before, but we know how good he can be. So to kind of pit these two against each other and have them bring out the best in each other is exactly like a world title scene that AEW needs.
All I know after this backstage little interaction is, damn, I want this match, and I want this freaking match as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love a long-term feud with those two, a singles feud.
We're going on to my next question for you, Ashley, as I'm going to ask, will Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné steal the show at Double or Nothing? Because their segment on Dynamite this past week, it was great, and I honestly was telling you before the show, each week I feel like Jamie Hayter looks more like Wilma for Scooby-Doo. I want to go Jinkies all the time now.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the chance to. We've seen how good Mercedes has been over these past few months, and Jamie Hayter has always been fantastic, so I have no doubts about her. And I loved the segment, too. I loved, the live promo cutting into Mercedes attacking her, them kind of fighting out onto the stage, but another kind of like really great segment to kind of get you really hyped for this match. And I genuinely think Mercedes may have a chance of taking her first singles loss here.
I gotta disagree. I feel like maybe they're gonna go with Monet versus Toni Storm. They have done this so well where I'm finally not sure who's gonna win this match at Double or Nothing. I just know I want to see this freaking match. So we're going on to my next question. And this is one thing that kind of disappointed me about this episode of Dynamite. And my question to you is, did we really need the beatdown on Kevin Knight by Rush before he faced off against Okada? And my only reason for this is I was thinking you beat down to protect Kevin Knight from taking the L, and you have a short match with him versus Okada. Then you can play that down the road. But actually, we still got a 15-minute match with Kevin Knight versus Okada. I'm not complaining about the match. I'm just saying the setup is kind of weird.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, maybe we could have shaved off a few minutes from that match. If you want, especially if you want to, keep the beatdown in, like you said. I do like it in terms for what it could do for Rush. We've seen Kevin Knight come in and immediately get over with the AEW audience. Rush has come in and gotten over, but he has been very stop and start with his time on TV. He's here, he's gone. If we're going to push him, I think getting him into something with somebody like a young Kevin Knight is a great option. But like you said, I understand, like possibly, shave like 5 minutes off the match with Okada because it is Okada.
Yeah, it was a great Okada match. And like Taz said, Okada has become more Americanized each and every week as he just double birds everybody each week now.
Yeah, I like how he censored himself too. He covered it up there for a second.
I did as well. It was I had a good chuckle about that. So we're moving on to the next question as did Claudio versus Samoa Joe live up to the hype? Because dude, we are here for the balance and I'm pretty sure we have some balance here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm never going to be disappointed by a Claudio match or a Samoa Joe match for that matter. And I love this little precursor to the violence I know we're going to be getting next week.
Well, you know what they say. If somebody sends one of you to the hospital, you need to send the other one to the morgue. And Samoa Joe just humbly decided that Claudio got to go. And after the match, they decided to take Claudio Castagnoli out as Moxley is watching from the corner, and he's not going to do anything about it.
A smart strategy by Samoa Joe, no doubt. But I think with the quick segment we saw with the Bucks walking into the dressing room, I think that smart move may be negated here.
All I know is I'm looking for this steel cage match, and I'm just happy that I'm not inside the steel cage.
Oh no, absolutely not. Never. There is nothing scarier in my life that I can imagine than being in a cage with Samoa Joe.
No. Ashley, think about this. You're inside the cage with John Moxley and Samoa Joe.
No, no, thank you, no, thank you, not at all.
Okay. So we're moving over to our questions for Collision, and I'm going to start off with my feeling. This episode of Collision felt like AEW presents Dark Collision.
Yeah, a lot of names we haven't seen in quite some time on AEW television. I'm happy to see them back. I'm not so happy how some of them were treated upon their return, but we can talk about that when we get into it.
Well, nice segue, my friend, because my first question for you is, are you excited to see GYV versus the Paragon as we get GYV versus Roderick Strong and Kyle freaking O'Reilly?
So, yeah, I am happy we're getting this match. I am happy AEW reminded us GYV are on the roster. They have been gone for, I think, almost the entire time they've been signed. Glad to see them back. I'm happy that, especially like we're kind of reforming Paragon here as this unit. So I like that we're getting a lot of these solid tag matches with Kyle and Roddy. If we're gonna get some more grizzled young veterans, I like it. We haven't seen them in quite some time, and we really do need some fresh faces in the tag team division.
I agree with you, Ashley. And like you said, we can put the milk carton off to the side that had GYV's face on it. We found them. Somehow Tony went for the Rolodex and went, oh, wait a minute. Were we playing those two guys? Let's put them on
Somebody
TV.
remembered they were there. So, I mean, it's nice to see him back. So, hopefully, like I said, we can kind of get it's good to have the Bucks back. We have Grizzled Young Veterans back. We have the Paragon team kind of forming a thing. We have new FTR. Like, I like that we're kind of focusing again on this division.
And as well as we also started the return of the Dark Order. Now, I agree with you, Ashley, as we were talking before the show. Dear God, Tony Khan, can they not get a freaking entrance?
Right? The disrespect, first of all. Unfair that they didn't even get an entrance. I'm going to be mad about that. I feel like there was plenty of things you could have shaved 30 seconds off to give them an entrance.
I agree with you. I mean, you could have took a couple of minutes off that El Jericho match we had at the beginning with Ricochet, maybe. There's a couple of backstage segments that you can cut down. I feel like they showed a little clip from the Dynamite before where it was MJF and Will Ospreay. We could cut down on that just a little bit so we could have just to hear the Dark Order's freaking music for one more time.
I know. I've missed them. They've been on ROH kind of occasionally, popping in and out, but with John Silver hurt, I think it's been kind of tough.
Very true, I would say so. Ashley, so let's go on to my next question. As I know it's May, I know it's kind of early, but is Ricochet the heel of the freaking year? And oh, by the way, who had Zach Gowen versus Ricochet next week on your bingo card? Please stand up and take a bow.
Well, first of all, Ricochet has my vote, for sure. And second of all, who had Zach Gowen wrestling in AEW at all, ever, at any point, at all? Like, who had that on their bingo card? Please let me know. Please let me know if you had that, because I will be shocked, honestly.
You know how that segment played out to me? I was feeling like, okay, he's there. He's from Detroit. They have him in at ringside for that moment where you flash up the name, da-da-da-da-da. The heel rolls out the wing. They do a little interaction. And the way Ricochet didn't touch him there for a bit, I felt like, oh, he can't do that. He can't take a bump or anything. So here comes security down, and Ricochet literally talks you through the beat down the security. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, beats them down, attempts, I would say, to cut the hair of one of them. I don't think those scissors were doing him any favors. It's a little dull.
Well, you got to carry them around everywhere. You got to go through TSA and stuff, and maybe just make it.
It's like you're always stabbing people in the head with them, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't have an assistant to help him clean it every week or find a new set of scissors somewhere. I don't know, but anyhow,
Call somebody for him, you know.
since he's friends with the EVPs, he can have a new set every freaking week.
Right? You think they gotta be happy with him? He said he could help lead them to victory, and he didn't lie.
Yeah, he didn't lie. No, fair. But we did see Zach Gowen get into the ring and stand off with Ricochet. And poor Ricochet became the biggest heel in the AEW history. as he basically kicks the hell out of the good leg of Zach Gowen, gets him down on all fours, and steals the dude's leg and rolls out of the ring.
Yeah, and then pretends to walk on it. I think either way, I think he'll get his leg back next week. But what a crazy moment in 2025 professional wrestling. Something I thought I would never see.
Honestly, actually, I never thought I'd be reviewing a Zach Gowen's match on a podcast. So, hey, you know what? There's a first for me, too.
I was like, genuinely, he was like talking about like Brock beating him up in WWE, and I was like, yep, that's like the last time I remember Zach Gowen. So like, it's so crazy that he's here. Like, what? I didn't know he was from Detroit.
And actually, if my memory serves me right, I feel like the WWE harder wronged Zach Gowen and they just kept the guy, if I remember the story correctly. If anybody's out there, just correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so
crazy. So funny.
it is. It's just mind-blowing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Beach Break next week. Sure, why not? I mean, they love this card up, so we get a good Ricochet match, and I know Chicago's going to love chanting, "He is bald."
I think this is like kind of like the new favorite thing for AEW fans.
I do believe. I feel like this has replaced the Watt chant. Now they're just chanting, "He is bald," or this week it was, "Oh, your opponent has hair. Your opponent has hair."
Yeah, I thought the crowd both nights was good though for back-to-back nights. I thought they did pretty good.
Okay, so we're going up to the main event of Collision. It was Daniel Garcia versus Dax Harwood. And my question for you, Ashley, is does FTR remember that Nigel was really a bad guy in ROH? And I know he's a babyface announcer, but I got a feeling that they're going to realize soon that this dude has a mean streak.
I can't wait till they find out, honestly. I have been jonesing for another Nigel McGuinness match since the match with Lee Moriarty a couple months back. And knowing that soon it's happening now, I can't wait. And especially with somebody like Dax, I don't know if they're gonna do like McGuinness and Garcia versus FTR or something, or just straight up Nigel versus Dax, because I feel like they've been really poking this singles bit between them a lot. But either way, I'm just happy that we're gonna get Nigel McGuinness back in the ring.
Well, I'm perfectly happy having the tag match. I'm perfectly happy Nigel versus Dax. I'm perfectly happy Nigel versus Cash. Sign me up, please. I don't care.
Oh, I know. Especially like, again, a lot like Ricochet. I'm loving this like smarmy FTR heel, especially adding Stokely. I never in a million years would have thought to add Stokely to their act, but man, do I love it. And I want to see Nigel give him a Tower of London. Like, I need this.
Either that, or I want to see Tony Schiavone get up from doing commentary to walk over to punch Stokely during some kind of interaction. Just for that, I'm here for it. Tony, take my idea, please.
Yeah, honestly, it would kind of complete the whole like Nigel has been protecting Tony the whole time, and now Schiavone has the chance to return the favor. I would love it.
It would be great. And I mean, like, one punch. We're not talking about Tony getting in the ring, taking a hot tag. No. We just need one Tony Schiavone punch.
Yeah, either punch or even just have like Stokely be up on the apron and Schiavone yank him down so he falls down, because Stokes not real. Well, he is a wrestler, but he's not really a wrestler.
Well, you know what? We'll give Stokely halfway all the credit in the world. The guy plays the bumbling idiot pretty dang well, and he makes it look realistic.
I'm just genuinely so happy he's back on TV. I've missed him so much. He's too funny to not be here.
Exactly. He's here. He's here for all the right reasons. Let's just go ahead and say it. Really, here for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Like I said, this turn for FTR, and especially this pairing, I want to see this go for a minute because I'm just so intrigued by this pairing up.
Okay, I'm kind of interested to see if we get FTR, this version of FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate, and we flip those titles over to FTR, and Stokely Hathaway gets the chance to brag about FTR being world champions.
Oh, that would be hell on the rest of the AEW tag team division. But I could see definitely something like that happening. It would be a good choice. I don't think it would be like a wrong choice, especially with this character turn. I think a lot of people have really kind of been reinvigorated in their interest on FTR. So I think it'd be kind of a good way to maybe spotlight again the tag team titles. I think Shelton and Lashley are doing great right now. I don't think it's like anything against them, but I feel like their storyline with MJF is a little bit derailing the matches they're having. I'd like to see them be a little more involved in a feud with the titles.
I agree. I feel like the matches they're having right now are just placeholders, so you could get MJF come down to do the week by week feud as we're going towards him joining the group.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get back to normal programming with the tag team once we get him inside the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. I exactly. I think AEW sometimes does this stuff where we see them dance around the end of a game until they can get there, and I think we're kind of just in one of those moments right now. But I feel like after next week we should definitely have our answer with that and move on from that, and then be able to like refocus on the tag team titles.
Very true. So we're up to our last question, and the question is going to be, how excited are you, Ashlee, for Beach Break this coming week? Because this card is loaded to the gill.
I am very excited. Like you said, loaded card. On top of it being a memorial show for Steve Mongo McMichael, I think that's going to obviously inspire everybody to be on their A game. And I think AEW has kind of shown us in the past how they like to treat these memorial shows as kind of a big deal. And even for people who have never been a part of AEW, just people in the wrestling landscape, I think we should have a great show next week, especially capped off by something like a cage match with Moxley versus Samoa Joe. Definitely something to look forward to for everybody.
Well, I gotta say, this is a can't miss episode of Dynamite coming up this week. You better freaking watch it. And of course, if you can't, we're here to help you out with the review next Friday. But first, Ashlee, where can we find you on the Super Information Super Highway?
I am on Blue Sky. It's at groovyash.bsky.social. I've also just joined the new wrestling match review site Dropkicked. It's just like letterboxed for wrestling matches. If you're on there, it's just Groovy Ash on there as well.
And of course, you can follow this show on Twitter/X at The Dynamite Drop. Also on Instagram at The Dynamite Drop. And until next week, we're just on another level. Me and Ashlee, top podcasters out.